Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going over how to install Kali Linux in VirtualBox. And we will also be setting up a virtual hard disk that will be used as a shared drive between virtual machines and will also act as a backup place for any files we want. Hope you enjoy the video. Alrighty, so here we are at the Kali website. We're going to use the installer image here. Go down, make sure 64-bit is selected. And I like to use the net installer. It's a smaller download and it can install the packages over the network. That saves you from having to download a 10 gig. Now just click on the link and you'll download that to your file. And then over here, VirtualBox site. Now if you need to download it for your own Windows or Mac or something like that, come here, click on this. You can see here you can have the link for the Windows install, Mac install, and a link to the Linux distributions. And I accidentally downloaded the Windows there, which I don't need. But if you click on Linux distributions, you'll come here and you can pick your flavor and it'll get you started. Okay, here we are in the terminal. We're going to go through the install of VirtualBox through here. Normally you'll just do sudo apt, if I can spell apt right, install, and then VirtualBox. And then this, depending on your version, will normally install VirtualBox 6.8, I think it is. And so I'm going to show you real quick how you would add in the repository to get the latest version. If you've never done this before, it's pretty simple. Let me get the first bit of code here. Copy and paste this in. Alright, so this one will add the GPG key for the repository into your system, so you can be able to download from it. And of course, anytime you copy paste code, make sure you read through it and understand what it's doing before you hit enter. And so I've already got it in there, I'm not going to hit enter here. Let me grab the second bit of code. The second bit will add the repository into your list, so that way it will automatically pull. And again, read through it, and as you can see, this one says 2016 here, which is what it says up there, so make those sure that stuff like that matches. And then once that's entered, then you can just type in sudo apt install virtual, well, let me get rid of the git, okay, install VirtualBox 7.0, and that will install the latest version. And once that's done, we're good to move to the next step. Alrighty, so once you got all that taken care of, open up VirtualBox. Don't mind this, it's another OS that I'm kind of looking into. And we're going to set up a new machine, so we'll go up here to machine, click new. And here, we'll put in the name of the machine we want. I'll put Kali YT for YouTube, why not? And make sure you pay attention to this directory, and make sure it's in this place that you want. This is not where I like to store mine. I have a folder on my external drive where I like to keep my virtual machines. Here we go. Come on. We'll just open it in there. And the next line will be the ISO. Mine's already here because I've done this install before. And okay, good, I found everything. You want to make sure that it finds the OS type, especially if it's 64-bit or 32-bit, because that is very important. Alright, next is we're going to give it memory. Now I've got 32 gigs on my system, so I normally like to give this 16 gigs and give it plenty of room. That'll vary depending on how much you've got in your system. And CPUs, I just go straight up to the middle line, so this will get 8 cores. Alright, next part. Make sure you do the virtual disk image. This is where an OS is going to live. This is by far the easiest way to take care of them, and I've not had any problems, and I'm going to set this to 100. Alright, this is just an overview of all the settings that you've created. Just look over it, make sure everything's correct, everything's in the place it needs to be, your sizes are correct. If there's any changes you need to make, you can hit back, but we're good to go. Alright, so we'll hit start, and it'll boot up. And there we go. Alright, so graphic install. And take it just a minute. You will see errors pop up, unless it prevents you from booting the OS or you have problems with accessing things, stuff like that. I usually don't pay attention to them. There's always been some errors. Alright, here we go. So my language is English, United States, American keyboard. Alright, so this is going to, we'll speed through this part here. Oh, just to let you know, it did take me about 50 minutes to get this done, so just be aware it does take a little bit of time to get the install completed. Alright, now we get to name the machine. Now it defaults to Kali, but we're going to switch that to Kali UIT. There we go. Alright. Alright, and this, we don't have any domains on my network. I don't have it set up like that. Alright, and okay, username, so I'll put my name in here. Leave that. Alright, password. Put in whatever you need to here for your password. And remember, this will be your password, and for any time you use a sudo command. Alright, we are Eastern. Okay, and I'll be back when the next section gets up. Alrighty, so we want to use the entire disk. That's the only drive we've got, so we'll select it. So you see 100 gigs. Alright, and we'll do all files in one partition here. We're going to set up a separate share drive, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Alright, finish partitioning. And yeah, we want to write these. This just shows you how it's going to break everything down, what drive's going to use, the partitions and their numbers, and what type of file system they're going to have. So we'll click yes here. Alright, we do not use an HTTP proxy here. If you need to use one to access the internet for whatever reason, you'll type your information in there. Alrighty, here's the important part, package selection. So as you can see, you got your desktop's environments. XFCE is the default, and I prefer it. Of course, I'm using Ubuntu as my home desktop. You got GNOME, KDE, you can switch it. Collection tools, make sure that one's always selected. And then you have the top 10, and then the default. And what I'll normally do is I will deselect the default, and then select the large. And that just makes sure that all the tools get installed that I expect to have, plus a few extra. Now this will take the longest amount of time, so I'm just going to fast forward through this. There you go, as you can see, 3,000 packages. So this part takes a while. Be back. Alrighty, and we are back. Finally got all of that done. We're moving to installing the grub bootloader. Alright, this is for installing the grub. You want to install it on your primary drive? Yes, because we only have one drive. There's not going to be a second one for it. So just make sure you read over this when you're familiar with it. Alright, and here's where we'll select the disk. Alright, it'll take just a minute to install the grub bootloader. Alrighty, installation is complete. So now we can click continue to reboot, and we'll see if everything installed is working correctly. go, that's a good sign. Again, like I said, get some errors here. I just usually don't pay them any mind because everything tends to work just fine. Okay, you're gonna give me my little login box. There we go. Yeah, sometimes it takes it a minute, so we'll just type in username, password here, and should be able to get in. I'll just give you a heads up, sometimes this latest versions of Kali, so it usually takes a minute to log in. The desktop takes a minute to get set up. So there we go. Alrighty, so we were in, booted in, and switch to full screen here. And looks like we are good to go. So first things first, get a terminal open, and we'll run update real quick, just to make sure we're not behind on anything already. As you can see, we only got one repository in here right now, and we're good with that. Alrighty, so I've backed out. I have a couple of things I want to show you here. Network, this is very important. Normally you want to do this before you even boot it up the first time, but mine's set to NAT, that tends to work. You also have the option of bridge adapter, so if you're having problems with connected to the network in your machine, usually switching that to bridge adapter will help. The other thing we're going to look at here is storage. As you can see, I've only got one device on the SATA, so we're going to click add hard drive. I'm going to show you how to set up that network drive. That's an extra one I was playing with. I'm going to go through and show you how to create one here. Alright, so we want virtual hard disk, since we're just going to use this as a hard drive. Do not select pre-allocate, and here I'll change this because I like to give it its own folder, so that way I can access it from different machines easier. It just helps with that, I found. Alright, we got the folder there, and yep, make sure you change the VHD to the correct name. There we go. Alright, and then you want to select your size. I like to do mine at about 100. Alright, there we go. So now it's in. So let's just make sure it's highlighted and click choose. There you go, now you should see it. We'll click OK here. And when we boot up into Kali, we'll be able to get this set up and taken care of. Let's get back into Kali. Alrighty, where's the logout? There it is. Always forget it takes a minute. Let's get logged in here, and let's see if we'll have that visual glitch that I'm personally familiar with. And yep, it looks like we will. So this happens sometimes when you're in full screen. It's an easy fix. Don't panic if it happens to you. Just come down here, click on view, click on full screen. It'll take us back to box mode, and then you'll have, sometimes it'll pop up, sometimes you'll have to click view and go full screen mode again. And there we go, we have our desktop, cool. Alrighty, so next we want to run gparted. If you've never used this tool before, it's a pretty simple tool, it's nothing to be scared of. Just a disk formatting tool, so just make sure you select the right disk. Alrighty, get this enlarged here. So it comes up, it's got our SDA1, this is where Kali lives. You can see we got extended 4 drive here. That's where Kali actually lives on it. This is part 2 of the disk. This is where your swap is. It's pretty basic Linux drive setup. You can see boot over there. Linux swap here. Tells you the flag over on the side. Alright, so we want SDB. As you can see, it's unallocated. And this is what we're going to be formatting. So first, we need to click create a partition table. Yes. Okay. Now we'll click new, And we'll just go through, make sure all the megabytes are selected here, so all the disk is used up, primary partition. You do have an option for an extended partition. For this, we'll leave primary. Your file system will leave as ext4, and this will give it a label of share. Click add. Alright, and then we'll click the check mark. Yes, we want to apply. We're not going to worry about lost data because there is none. Already completed. Close that. Alright, now it shows up there. We're looking good. So we can close out. There we go. Now we can open it up and type our password in to mount it. And there we go. Now we are not good to go. So if we right click, you'll see we can't create a folder or document here. That's because when it gets mounted this way, it's mounted as root. Now, a easy way to fix this is we'll just open up a terminal here, and oh, that's full size. My bad. Let me shrink this a little bit. Stupid terminal. There we go. Alrighty, and increase the text a bit there. Alright, so we'll go back one directory, and if we do ls, you'll be able to see that this is owned by root, and that's why we cannot create anything there, because the write function is not enabled for everybody. Now I like to go ahead and switch this over to my user as the owner, and let me type it right, chown, there we go. Now I'll see if I remember how to put this in right. I think it's the drive first and then the username. And I think that's it, yeah. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay. Type in the password. Invalid user share. Oh, let me double check. I think that's supposed to be flipped. And cown root / u. Okay. So yes, I did have it backwards. The right command, right part's just backwards. So let's fix that and get rid of that. Put in share over here. Okay, cool, done. So now if I do ls again, you can see the user has been changed to my username. And that's a simple way of going about that. And I've had good luck with that staying permanent throughout reboot, so you should too. Now we can create folders and documents. Simple as that. And I'll show you later how I typically use this and set it up and how I utilize it. But it does come in handy, a lot that I've found over time. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed the video and learned something useful from it. If you did enjoy it, I ask that you please subscribe and hit the like button and share it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good day.